Experience hospitality the Northwest way at the Everglades Hotel. Located on the banks of the River Foyle, the Everglades Hotel is just minutes from the centre of Derry, Londonderry, with free on-site guest car parking. Whether you're here for a family meal, a big celebration, or simply a peaceful retreat, will make your experience as memorable as the sights in the city. Visit Everglades Hotel Derry for accommodation bookings, the latest menus, live shows and events, and much, much more. See you there.
I'm going to rewind the clock 24 years to your own experience of playing with All Ireland, or with its own minor. Sorry, I have their All Ireland minor final. 2001 was a brilliant year for you, and you never really looked back after that. What are your main? Is there any recollections from that year that really stand out?
Yeah, look, it was a brilliant year, a brilliant team. Great setup. Liam Donnelly and Martin Coyle had us in good shape, and ironically, Matty Donnelly and Richie Donnelly were our kind of mascots to that team. They were only, I don't know what age. I'm sure someone can do the maths, but they were probably. Matty might have been around 10 and Richie might have been around 7, but they've been running around and having the crack with us. We used to go to listen to ski pre and post match. But you know what? The thing that got me most excited back then was really like being part of the big occasion. And maybe that is me as a person as well. I was always a bit of a performer on a big day. I really loved the atmosphere of a big day, and the fact that we got to play those big sort of occasions in Clonus and Croke Park, and the at the time it didn't feel like it was going to be a blessing, but in the All Ireland minor final we played Dublin. And Dotsie O'Callaghan, who went on to be a great hurler for Dublin, scored an equalising goal. I felt it was a bit jammy, if I'm honest, but he got an equalising goal a couple of minutes to go. We had sort of controlled the game, and they got a late goal that saw the game a draw, ended a draw. And at the time we were deflated, but we then got a week later, we got to go to Breffni Park. In a standalone game, and there might have been 10 or 15,000 people there just to see us as a minor group. And I mentioned earlier about a lot of the best games of my career were against Dublin, and that was one of them. If I'm honest with you, the atmosphere that day, the crack afterwards and around Cavan, even from a lot of the Dublin supporters who had travelled up. Dublin are great when they get on the road, the Dublin supporters, and it just had a real feeling about it. It was special, obviously, to win the All Ireland, but equally just the occasion and being a minor and being exposed to those massive days really just gave me the gra and the hunger to kind of push on, and probably didn't. I was very lucky. I didn't look back then from there, and I joined an amazing senior panel, and the rest is history, really.
Am I right that Joe Brawley had a bit of a cut at the team after the Mayo game? He wasn't so
Yeah, I think I mentioned that one in the book. Yeah, that was a bit of a low point, if I'm honest with you. So I had probably one of my best performances in an All Ireland minor semi final against Mayo. Thanks to David Clark, who went on to have a really good sort of career with Mayo, was in nets for that Mayo team. But yeah, I remember he went on a Joe rant and said. Usually you get at minor level, it's obvious who's going to go on and play a senior, but there's not a player in that Tyrone team that's going to go on and play a senior. And when you look back at that and you realise that minor team had myself and Joe McMahon, Jeremy Carroll, Tommy McGuigan, Peter Donnelly. There's a right few of us, and there might even be more. There's a right few of us. John Devine. Leo Meenan. So I would say if I went across the team we had there, I'd say we probably ended up with about 10 of the lads playing senior at some point or another. But yeah, Joe decided that day none of us were ever going to see a Tyrone senior jersey. Maybe says a lot. It says more about him than us.
Do you think it's got a little bit more difficult for lads to make that step up from say minor to that under 20 stroke under 21 bracket, then into senior bracket. I think you were still only about 19 in 2003, if I recall that correctly, Sean.
Yeah. I made my senior debut at 18, actually. Yeah, look, I think the level of conditioning in the game as well has made it that little bit trickier. Obviously, the year, which like I'm not even not convinced around the whole under 17s thing. I know, and I don't totally understand the whole exam systems and all the rest and aligning year groups and all, but I always felt the kind of under 18 was fine. But yeah, I think it has the fact that you kind of have to go like under 17 feels a little bit young to try and make that jump to senior level, and not as many players obviously do that. Myself and John Devine from our minor group, so we played in that All Ireland minor final, and I would have been sort of September, October 2001. And I remember the following month we were out with Art McCrory and Eugene McKenna as part of the senior panel. So we were able to, Jeremy Carroll, I think, joined soon after, and Peter Donnelly soon after that. So there was a natural sort of transition and progression there. So yeah, I think it has been made a little bit more difficult by the fact that it's under 17s. And I'm not totally sure that has added a huge amount, but like still a fantastic competition, and still something that, well, definitely here in Tyrone we're definitely reveling in and enjoying. So yeah, long may that last.
You see parallels with where Tyrone county football is now with where it was back in 2001, because I think that's the only year in the county's history that we did the minor and under 21 in 1 year, and it's quite similar now where the minors might go on and compete the double. Do you think there's a tsunami coming, hopefully?
I'm hoping there's a tsunami coming. It does feel like it whenever you look at whenever you think back to like schools football back then. Macquarie Cups were being a fair bit, like there's at the Academy one in 98. Armagh was around that time. I managed to win it for Armagh in 2000. But the Dungannon Academy and St. Pat's Armagh were competing at the top end of the Macquarie Cup, sort of from 98 through to 2000, and 2001 even. And actually St. Michael's in Enniskillen wasn't far away as well at that time, and that did then translate into a lot of the dominance of Tyrone and Armagh. A lot of the guys that played in the Macquarie Cup and whatnot then went on to play for Tyrone and Armagh that had that dominance of that sort of early 2000s. It does feel, if you look at the names of the Macquarie Cup and who's making it there the last number of years, it's all the Tyrone schools. And yeah, like you only have to look at the work that's been done at club level. I see it in my own club, but I see it in every other club in Tyrone that I managed to go to with my kids for Go games and even the my seniors and things. The level of infrastructure and coaching and work and numbers that are getting involved, participation levels are through the roof. It just does feel that the county's really on the cusp now of whether it's on Saturday night or beyond. I think we're ready to make a bit of a breakthrough, and the talent is there. And I think most people, there's a unanimous sort of backing of Malachy to kind of lead us at senior level, but like St. Paul and under 20s and we Jared and at minor level, they've all done a fantastic bank of work. A bit like what Liam Donnelly did with us in 2000 and Martin Coyle, and it just feels now the stars are almost aligning, and I think we'll not be going too far from the top table of football, and if we do, I think there'll be something wrong given the level of talent and the work that's been done throughout sort of clubs and school football and underage county.
You think the fact that it's Kerry in the final adds a little bit of extra space?
It always does, doesn't it? Yeah, I know this is saying about Dublin, but yeah, I think quickly after Dublin, I think I would have named Kerry as my sort of favourite opponent, and an opponent that yeah, they don't like us, and we don't, or we like the fact that they don't like us is probably the best way of putting it.
That's quite different about it.
Yeah. No, there's and it was no different whenever I never got to play them at minor level, but you're always watching for the results because I grew up watching those Kerry teams, being told that Kerry teams and Dublin teams were superior to us in Tyrone. So you're always looking over your shoulder and keeping an eye on them. And yeah, thankfully we've had the edge on them at an underage level the last few years, and I hope that that continues for the final.
Just finally, what do you make of the fact that the spread? If you look at spread of clubs, it doesn't always the traditional hitters in us Tyrone minor team. There's a few Fanta lads and not McCoy lads and things like that. Is there a little glimpse of the future there, maybe as far as the maybe club championship series?
I always felt that should have been the case. I had it not been for Clonley Gale, we wouldn't have had Stevie O'Neill and Brian Dooher, Packy McConnell from Newton Stewart. Knock McCrory wasn't a big team whenever Mickey McGee come on the panel as well. I think we've always been good at that in Tyrone, whereby we've always looked at players for their merit and on their merit rather than whether they're from a traditional club or not. I think the kind of the ruthless nature maybe of us means that everyone's judged the same, and there's no real dominant club, maybe like some other counties where they're waiting on a conveyor belt coming from one single club. I think. Look, I was up a couple of weeks ago in the likes of Ahalou. The setup they have up there is on par with any top club that you'll see in any county. So whenever you're seeing the setups and the work that's being done, it doesn't surprise me that there's new names providing players. Not at all. It's amazing to see, and long may it last. And I think that in itself, the fact that we've so many clubs here, and the work that they're all individually doing, and if we can pull that all together, which we whenever we do come together, we're a tight sort of knit unit, and everyone loves playing to the county. So it's a healthy place to be in.
I should just ask you finally, do you think Tyrone will win the minor final, Sean?
Yeah, I don't. I think, and I watched them there at the weekend. I think from the just feels like a real momentum at both minor 20 and I do think it's pushing on to senior level. I think there's a real feel good factor at the moment within Tyrone football. So, yeah, for all and. Well, I'm a positive person anyway, so I'm always going to say yes regardless, but it just feels that we're getting a lot of stuff right, and it just feels like another title, and doing a minor and a 21 together would be really special. And yeah, who knows? Our senior lads might get things right from this weekend onwards too.
100%. Sean, thanks a million for your time.
You're very welcome. Good to see you now. And
you too, Sean.
Good to see you, man. Hope to see you around the ground somewhere soon.
Definitely. I'll have to get down to Lemoyne.
Good man. Chat soon.
Thanks, Sean. Take care of yourself.
Bye.
Experience hospitality the Northwest way at the Everglades Hotel. Located on the banks of the River Foyle, the Everglades Hotel is just minutes from the centre of London Derry, with free on-site guest car parking. Whether you're here for a family meal, a big celebration, or simply a peaceful retreat, we'll make your experience as memorable as the sights in the city. Visit Everglades Hotel Derry for accommodation bookings, the latest menus, live shows and events, and much more. See you there.